Hello and welcome back to my channel today. I'm Rebecca Robeson, and today I've got another episode for you of the top 10 most common mistakes I see people doing in their homes, and you might be doing them too. Today's topic is art. Give yourself some drywall space before you hit the casements. This one is like that kind of thing, all by myself. You know, you remember that song, right? How do you place your art? Is it too high? Is it crooked? Is it in the wrong orientation? Or is it just too much, like art on every single wall? Well, we're gonna get to those photos in just a second, but before we do, let me just say this. Thank you so much to those of you who have sent me photos of your home. It has been so much fun. Many, in fact, all of you have lovely homes in one degree or another, but there are things, little things that you could do to make a difference. So far, we have 5 episodes up. I would highly encourage you to watch the playlist that we put together on the top 10 common mistakes. 2 things. If you'd like to have your home submitted for a critique from Rebecca, myself, send your email with photos of your room and a little description to hello@kenwoven.com. Secondly, if you have made changes to your home as a result of watching any of these videos, I would love to see the pictures of how it looks now, and I hope that you are loving what you've done to your home to fix the common mistakes that indeed can make a huge difference. A big mistake in people's homes is they have just too much stuff. And that includes, too much furniture, too many accessories, too many pieces of art, and it kind of flows in perfectly with today's point of too much in the way of artwork. Every day's a holiday. This is actually one that I used for the television placement video. This is another wall or fireplace, and she's got a lot of little things here in a grouping, like a clock and a mirror and, I don't know, some sort of a plaque. And then above the fireplace, look at all those accessories and those art pieces. None of that is doing anything for the design of her room. As well as over on the left-hand side, you see she has a wreath and a couple of little pieces. So my thought is, if we go back here to her fireplace, I would take all of this down. She has a very, very short space. I would take this round clock here, I would stick that right center. I think it would fit. That is enough. Let's go back to the other photo. When we take these pieces here off, nothing on that wall, she could take some of those other art pieces and above the sofa over here, which I can't fully see, but she could create a grouping, a well-done grouping that is smaller in the group than the size of her sofa. And I honestly think that that would help you a lot, Pamela, and make a difference in your room. Linda's room was also seen in the window treatment episode because she had these dark blue shades and levelers. How many of you saw that? What I see here is that Linda also falls into the category of, if there's wall space, something should be on it. In my opinion, that is a mistake. If you look at the videos that I make here on YouTube, you will never see a house that has something on every single wall. Take a look here. She has her television, a piece of art above it, all these little pieces to the right-hand side, and then here she has a piece right here and then one here. This one is actually maybe okay. I'd rather see her do window treatment panels. We talked about that in the other episode. But because she put a rectangular, a taller and narrower, on a tall, skinny, available wall, that makes sense. Over here, a tall, skinny, available wall, but she has a horizontal. The amount of drywall to the left and the right is just not enough. Gwen has a lovely room. She has a beautiful fireplace over here. But what she does have are 4 different mirrors. Each one of them is in a completely different frame. There's no consistency in what she's doing here. First off, it's a little uncomfortable for me that it extends beyond the size of the sofa. I'd rather see, lamps here and something in the center. She loves mirrors. And maybe she collects them, goes to antique sales or garage sales or something, because I can see into this other room back here. There's another mirror there, and then above this, there's a mirror, and I think that is also a mirror. So the concept of buying a bunch of different mirrors, completely framed differently, different sizes and orientations, can work, I think. I just don't think it works here. I'd rather see you have art on the wall, or perhaps, this mirror right here that's like the paned glass, it looks like the Pottery Barn mirror. That could maybe go over the sofa here and look better. But right now, this, for me, it's a little busy. I actually included this one, not because she did anything wrong, except I saw something that I thought, that could look so much better if she would move that. Do you see here? She has a room divider screen. This is a little in competition, I believe. Take a look here. In this room, I like this room. I love her window treatments. And look, these two mirrors, those are awesome. Those could be pulled in closer to the fireplace. If these were here and moved in so there wasn't quite as much, I would take that space there and I would divide it in half and I would move that in. If that's 10 inches, move it in 5. If it's 12, move it in 6. But look here, these screens. She's practicing the principle of symmetry, but in my opinion, it's too much. Janice, if you took this screen, remove these are small, these can go somewhere else, and hung this screen on the wall here, that would be very impressive. You would still not want to use the second screen, but that would be a beautiful background, and I think it would look great in the room. It's just where it is on your wall right now. It is competing with your fireplace wall, which is your focal point, all right? I actually really think that would look great on that wall. Janice, do that and then send me photos, okay? I love her linear fireplace. It's a great room. But on this wall here, she has 5 black and white photos, but 4 of them are vertical and 1 is horizontal. Maybe you thought it was a good idea because you have a lamp here, but when I look at this, I just think, it's just a bit much. It also extends almost edge to edge on the wall. I think if she had 4 pieces, take the middle one out, put these 2 together and these 2 together, that will give you a more cohesive look. And most importantly, the mistake of having crooked artwork. When you have something this linear and graphic, anytime one of those pieces of art is slightly askew, it will throw the whole thing off and it'll bother you. Do you know that that's a super simple fix? 1, get a level to make sure everything is straight, but use sticky tack. All right, sticky tack is that stuff, it almost feels like putty. You put it on the corners on the bottom and you push, and you make sure you have a level on there when you push, because wherever you push it, it's gonna stay. I do want to mention right now that a lot of the things that I'm covering, and in much greater detail, I go into on the design sessions. The design sessions are an online digital library. It's less than $10 a month. There's over 100 hours of content where I teach you these design principles and so much more that will change your home and change your life, honestly. All right, this is going to be fun because I think by the time we get through this stack of photos, I think you're going to begin to see what the problem is. And the idea is that you can then turn around, look in your own home and go, oh, that's off a little bit, or I should exercise this principle that Rebecca just taught. This is Killed Sense. Might be their last name. I don't think it's this for. Anyway, this is Killed Sense living room, and it's a beautiful room. I love the sofa, and look, he's got a big rug, or she has a nice big rug. I love that. I love the fact that he has a pair of lamps, although I would put those back in the center on either side and make that symmetrical. But do you see the problem of placement here? The height is just right, but it is not centered on that sofa. So to me, it looks like it's waiting for something to go in on the right-hand side. Killed Sense, if you move this over dead center, you take this table back, you put these lamps on either side, you're gonna have already, in a matter of minutes, just by nailing in one nail, a much better looking room. Love Julie's living room. It's such a great room. I love the fact that it has wood floors and it has the wood plank on the ceiling. That's great. She's got some interesting art pieces here. And so this isn't necessarily a mistake, but I think she could place this art better. If I take a look over here, I see there is an empty wall here. This piece seems a little high to me. I feel like that could come down in the space and feel more part of the room and not so close to the ceiling. But let's take a look here. Do you see this large, I don't know if it's a tapestry, but it's a hanging of sorts. I think that's beautiful. I don't think it's beautiful next to the television. This takes all this low furniture and even the low TV, and all of a sudden it goes, it's just completely ill proportioned. If we took this piece, and here it is here, and put it on this wall, it would look amazing. And it would be, you know, a piece of art on its own. It's not fighting with a television on a very low table. I think that right there would make a huge difference. In Janae's living room, she has a beautiful living room. But look at these three pieces of art. It's nice, it's hope, faith, and love. It's a beautiful message. Janae, I would have these right about here, okay? Try that and see if then your room all kind of comes together. Then you've got this kind of a look. You would think that more people had made that mistake. In the submissions I got, hundreds, very few people had the problem so much of height, which was interesting because I would have thought that would have been a big one, but it was more of placement. I looked at this and what I saw was a problem was the art placement. These three pieces here feel like a lot. In fact, this chair here feels like a lot. But if you took those three pieces and you put it above this, get rid of some of this tchotchke stuff, but you put it above there, or even better yet, put it above the headboard, you may not be able to use all three. You might have to, I don't know if this comes apart or if it's one solid thing, but doing something like that, can you guys visualize that? You take these three and you put it there, or two, or one, or whatever. You could actually do one big one here and two smaller ones over here. Play around with it and see what you come up with, because Diana, I think that is going to look better. And here is a picture. She has a beautiful, like, soffitted ceiling. But just imagine that round thing. And it does play well with your light fixture that you have hanging in your room already. This wall here, it's an example of shelves, floating shelves. That's cool. And it actually would look good. You take all that black off there and imagine what that looked like. It would look great. You know, I don't want you guys to think that I don't like family photos. You know that I like doing photos in a digital frame. However, this is nice, but there's ideas I have for this that could look better. At the very least, what I want you to do is to remove the outside photos from this. Give yourself some drywall space before you hit the casements. I know you think you have some, but it's not enough. And as far as placement, I'm going to draw on top of your photo and I'm going to show you what I have in mind that I think would look better. Donna, here's the idea. I'm just going to use a white pencil to try and get rid of the concept of that going all the way to the end. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll give you sort of an idea. Sorry if I'm getting rid of one of your favorite grandchildren. Here's what I would do. I think you need to have some pieces that are taller, like a 11 by 14, right, kind of thing. And then you've got this kind of deal here. And then down here, you could have, these are all like so stacked. I feel like this needs to kind of come up to the same height or similar, not all the way. The frames here, you've got a frame here, then you have this. You may do a small one here, but don't go all the way to the edge. But giving that some height, and then break it up and put a small artificial greenery here, like a succulent or something that is small. And then down here, maybe just do 2 candles that are battery operated, and then put these back in, and then you can have a taller kind of a deal here. But just having some different height, these are all so much the same. I feel like that is just a bit much to have it and all the way to the edge. I hope that gives you kind of an idea and helps you kind of capture the vision. Play around with it and then send me photos. Let me see what it looks like when it's done. All right, Donna? Before I show you anybody else's pictures, I got a picture back. You guys remember Patty? Well, in the video where we talked about window treatments, there was an episode on that, I pointed out that Patty should not have window treatments in her entry and in her staircase. Do you know that within a matter of days, she sent me photos of what it looked like when she took everything down, and she said, oh my God, Rebecca, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. So I just thought, what a great idea. Why don't you, if you have watched any of the videos in this series, and you've actually made some changes to your home because you've identified mistakes that you too are making, please take photos and send them to me. I want to see how it looks now that you have fixed those mistakes. Dee has a really beautiful living room, but I think that there's too much art and it's not placed properly. These are very high for the height of her sofa. So I think they're cool pieces. She also has a mirror here that's on a very small side wall. What I've been trying to tell you guys is you need some drywall space to the left and the right of your art pieces, no matter what. This is too large for this space. I would remove this. But there's another side of this that's interesting, and that is she's got a really cool piece of art here. She has this way too low. The other pieces are way too high, and this one's way too low. So this needs to come up, but more importantly, I think it should be on a larger wall where there's some drywall space to the left and right. So here was my idea. I thought, you know what, it might look really cool if Dee removed these, use them somewhere else. I think they're great. If anything, if you want to use them here on this wall, put one here and one here. Stack them on top of each other so that they're not wider than your sofa. Your sofa ends up being wider and the art steps in. You can stack that. It looks great with that. But the other thing is I could visualize that big piece of art that she has sitting almost on the floor over there. It is like a pier, right? It looks like a pier. What if that was directly behind her sofa in the center? It may be so tall that it actually kind of goes behind the sofa. That's fine. But I can visualize that pier right there with the sofa. It's such a perspective piece of art. I do think that Dee, that would look really good. So either do this, get rid of this, and raise your pier, or move your pier here. Maybe this, those pieces, maybe you could have just one here. Don't put it here. That's not enough space. If it was here and you did it vertically, then you'd have space on either side of your wall. I really like Danielle's living room, and she had mentioned that she really has some very special pieces of art that she wants to use in her home. The mistake I see is that they are just randomly placed everywhere. This one is like that kind of thing above the television, but is it really? I mean, look, it's not even centered above it. So it's like a kitty wampus here, and then over here there's like a little piece left to the side. If it were my house, I would probably omit this piece of furniture and try to do something over here that is not competing with your television and your fireplace. I also feel like in her dining room, these two pieces, your dining room table actually covers the artwork. These are hung too low. Now, obviously, you've got a split system up here, and that's an issue. What you could do is take these apart and hang them side by side. It may mean that you need to get a different silk tree or artificial tree, something more airy, because this is like a big ball, and I don't think it's helping the look of your room. But if you really want to do these, then do them side by side, or go back to some of these. If these are the ones that really matter to you, come up with a gallery grouping, and you can find out how to do a gallery grouping on the design sessions. We have an entire episode, like over an hour, just on gallery groupings. So go there and see what I recommend you do, because it is a much more in-depth conversation than just, put a bunch of stuff up on your wall and hope it looks right. That's not what we're doing. So that needs to change. Put them side by side if you really want to keep those in there. Cheryl, look at you. She's got a large, I mean super large television with a nice big piece of furniture under it. It's bigger than the television. Thank God, because I'm on that television. Hello there. Anyone see a problem here? I do. We have this photo, and then on the opposite side we have this. But what I'm seeing her do is she is placing her art off center. It would look so much better if this was lined up and it was in the center. Second option would be, if we go back to this piece right here might look good above this. This has got the blue, and this looks like it, maybe this is gray. It could be just the light that's making it blue. Try this piece somewhere else and try this piece over your sofa and see if that looks better to have a larger piece. I have no problem with the size of this given the low height of the ceiling, but definitely put that in the middle. Okay, Cheryl? You did a blue accent wall, and look at your area rug. It's got the blue and the neutral like tan color. That was a very good choice. You did really well here. So you take this blue wall. Now this piece of art, I believe, is hung a little too high. Let's take a look at the other photo. You see, to the left, she has this little black shelf, then a whole lot of space, then a piece of art, then a whole lot of space, and then another black shelf. If you take these little black shelves, you move them in on either side and move this down a little bit, I would omit this corner piece of furniture that you have, which right now is housing tchotchkes. And it's making your room, it's making me tired looking at it is what it's doing. So a good choice on your art and all this, just bring it in and pull it down, and I think you're gonna like how that looks a lot more. This is an interesting one. It is a bedroom, and it's so funny, most of the things that people submit are living rooms and family rooms. Here I see the same thing that I've been pointing out. One piece of art above one nightstand, nothing on this side, nothing above the bed. It is just randomly, it's an island to itself. Betta, I think this would look so much better if you did something different. And here's what I'm thinking. This round mirror over here, I think that would look good above your bed. Now, I'm not sure the size is the right size, so you'd have to check that. You've got to have some drywall above and below it. But if you just did a round mirror there, get yourself, I wish you had a matching pair of nightstands, but for now, get yourself 2 lamps that match. I think you did a great job on your window treatments. They go to the floor, good job, Betta, and they go to the ceiling, awesome. Not sure why this chest of drawers is not pushed back against the wall. It looks like you have very little walking space here, and this would look so much better. You can see straight on here, all by myself, you know, you remember that song, right? I love this house. The wood floors are gorgeous. It's got great crown molding, and look at this casement around these doors. That is beautiful. What I see here are 2 really, I just included this because these are really great pieces of art. They look like they could be originals. When you have 2 pieces like this right here, if you're gonna put something on this wall, it should be vertical. I wouldn't put anything on it. What I would do is take these 2 pieces and put them here. But as you look around the other direction, look what a beautiful living room this is. Nancy, you did a great job with your window treatments. I'm so proud of you. These look awesome. You have a beautiful fireplace. The one thing that I'm not sure is you've got all these different chairs. Now these 2 match, that's great. This one does not, but you brought in a pillow that made it match. I'm gonna give you some advice on how I think you should do this room. These 2 pieces of art over here by themselves, there's nothing to balance them. You've got like the architectural bones for symmetry, which could be such a great first impression in this room. I would take my sofa and I would put it right here, and the window treatments would be behind it. Then I would either take these, they're really too small to put one on either side. I would probably take these and put them above the fireplace. And here's the thing, see how low this is? Well, these go to the ceiling. She could do with more height in this room, but if you took this sofa, you put it here, then you take these 2 chairs and you put them here or on this side. I would try to omit, if I could, these 2 chairs, but I can see this great look. Now, here's your problem, and probably why you haven't done that. Your television. If there's another place in this room where this could go, I just think it would be so much better because this room has the bones to be quite a stunner. Now let's take a look at a couple other, some of my client projects, because I always like to end with a happy ending of, okay, so I told you what's wrong with it, and I've kind of tried to say do this, but I want you to see ways that we fixed it. Upstairs in this client's home, they had a hallway, and they did what a lot of people do, and that is family photo gallery walls. I mean, if you're gonna do it, it's best to probably do it in a hallway or something, and in their case, it wasn't a long, skinny hallway. It was one that you walked up to so you saw it straight on. That's when I think a family photo gallery wall looks great. But I redid it for them, and this is what it looked like after. And you can see that I did all horizontal shape for the images, and then a square in the center. What I usually do is I try to say, less is best. Pick the most important photos of your family members. You know, that's what everyone's gonna love to see year after year after year. But that looks so much more clean and balanced, doesn't it? And notice, I didn't go all the way to the edges. There is drywall in between. And then the last room here is the entry to the master bedroom. And here we have the problem of this piece of furniture just really not being large enough for this size of a mirror. But regardless of that, look at all the family photos. Again, too much. So that's what it looked like before. Instead, I chose one piece of art, sconces on either side. Of course, this was an expensive project. We did a lot to it. New flooring, new wood panels. You don't need to do that. Just make the point of a large piece could potentially look better than a small credenza with an oversized mirror and then a bunch of little photos on top, okay? There are ways you can make things look a lot better in your home if you just know what it is that you need to do. So there you have it. Those are the common mistakes that people are making with their art. I hope that you've learned some things today that you can use in your own home. Just remember, we'll be back next week at 2 o'clock Central on Thursday. That is our upload date. Write that down in your calendar so you never miss a brand new video that we put up every week. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.